Hi guys, my name's John. Right now I'm just testing a new ignition system for one of my pyrotechnics builds that I'm working on. Right now I have to, per NFPA 160 code, I have to find a new igniter that works well indoors because our old igniters use a propane source. This is an all-electric source. So if this system works pretty well, which it does because we're indoors and it's a safe flame, we'll have a new pyrotechnics rig that we can use on tour. This test rig consists of a simple 12-volt controller, which I just salvaged an old laptop power supply. These are everywhere in the garbage. I just went in the garbage, picked that up. And that gives me my power source to this electronic valve. And I'm using a small blowtorch propane source because these are easy to find, and a small blowtorch expansion chamber. And some plumbing parts you can find at Home Depot, which is kind of scary. But and this allows me to test various igniters. So all I just do is just wire this in, very simple, and I can activate the valve to test the system. During a lot of my event production and curiosities, I got into special effects on movies, doing flame effects and pyrotechnics, and that interest, that pyrotechnic interest, led me to apply my mechanical engineering mind to make my own flame projectors. Each of these tanks holds 20 gallons of propane. Your home barbecue tank holds 5. This all goes off, all 100 gallons, in one shot, one button press. All these valves open at the same time, and it releases an immense amount of propane. And that creates a giant fireball that is, it starts at about 12 feet in the air and goes 100 feet past that. I started my engineering career at Drexel University. There I worked for a few defense contractors. One of the bigger ones was Lockheed Martin, doing some top secret things, working with naval ships and things like that, electronics on those. During also my stint at Drexel University, I taught AutoCAD and SolidWorks, which is a 3D modeling program, because I really love to teach, and I picked up 3D modeling way back when, and I decided it'd be a good opportunity for me to get public speaking skills, and also teaching at Drexel, so I taught freshmen for a few years. Getting out of college, I worked pretty much a wide spectrum of different engineering jobs because I never really wanted to get as much experience as I could. Started off working on fire engines, then I worked at a few foundries and for manufacturing plants, and then I eventually moved into a design engineer role at a few consumer products and designing kitchen and bath, things like that. So I got a really good idea of taking a concept, a pencil sketch, to a prototype, to a final production, then moving it all the way through the manufacturing, all the way to consumer shelf. So it's like I have a very good sense of what it takes to take an idea and push it and drive, manage a project and get it to completion.
What's the difference between you and another type of artist like a painter?
Well, I really feel like that I've melded my engineering background with my artistic background. That's the main reason why I'm different than a painter or a sculptor, is that I'm coming from an engineering background. I have the skills, I know what it takes to execute projects with immense scales and budgets and all that stuff. And then I also know the artistic side of things, and melding those two is my definition of engineering is art and science. It's not just the books or geeky glasses that you picture engineers. It's artist first, scientist second. That's my definition of an engineer, why I'm different from a painter. Frank's Kitchens is it's a design collective shop that I started. Pretty much I wanted it to be a space where I can go in and I'm not limited by the tools in front of me. I'm limited by my imagination. I try to outfit the shop with anything imaginable, from metalworking, woodworking to jewelry or whatever. So if I have an idea, I can go over to my shop and I can make it. So I'm not searching around like, oh, I can't do that because I don't have this. All right, this is my machine shop. This is a lathe and this is a Bridgeport. These two machines, they can make each other, and that means I can make any other machine in my shop. So I don't have to worry about anything breaking down because I can just make a new one. Okay, this is my welding area. Pretty much I've created a space of mine that I can do anything I wanted. I have MIG welders, TIG welders, arc welders, oxyacetylene torches, spot welders. I can put any kind of metal together that I want. Nothing just, someone throws something at me, I don't have to worry about how do I put this together. I have plasma cutters and torches if I want to cut metal. I have grinders and drill presses if I want to drill some holes. So nothing can really stand in my way. I can do what I want here, and that's how I like it. These bikes I'm sitting on here are some of the staple pieces of Frank's Kitchens. So it's a few design challenges that I came across while making these. Bike wheels inherently can hold about half of a person's weight. I mean, a bike has 2 wheels. It's designed to hold 1 person, so you're limited, when you use bike wheels in a kinetic piece, the size of your vehicle, because a bike only is designed to hold that much. So I had to, when I was making, just doing some sketches, I had this grand idea for this multi-person kinetic sculpture, and at the time I only knew how to make something out of a bike wheel. So, and my design was constantly being limited by the bike wheel, the bike wheel, the bike wheel. So I came up with a quick solution to this, because a sculpture derby was coming up in a few weeks, and I only had I think a month to design, come up with an idea. And looking around, storm drains was the pretty brilliant solution I came up with. Is that these are pre-engineered circular tubes that are designed to hold up tons and tons of dirt in a house. So I already knew, using that as a base material for a wheel, I just take a slice out of that and I lace my own wheels. So not only did I'm using a pre-existing off-the-shelf component, but I also teaching myself how to lace a wheel, which I found it's a real, almost meditative experience, cutting all these things, and there's thousands of operations per wheel, but then you have this beautiful handmade engineered device that can hold up more than a car wheel, because these are, again, designed to hold up tons and tons and tons of dirt, and it's using aircraft grade cable. So these things are essentially tractor wheels, and they look badass. Essentially, this is where the steering wheel gets mounted and where the wheel rotates around the steering wheel. These are all the dimensions and the math I had to do to find just where you put the wheel on the machine. All this mess is just for that. And these are the wheels that are going to get steered. This is for a project that I got commissioned for a local brewery in Philadelphia. These are wheels for a giant bike that is for Philadelphia Beer Week. And the brewery specifically, wants a giant presence in Beer Week. So I came up with this, I found an even bigger drainage pipe, surprisingly, and cut some wheels out of that and designed the frame and steering components, all of that. And I have about a month left in the build, and I'm really excited to look forward to Beer Week, and they're actually going to brew a specific beer to be served off of this vehicle, so I'm really, really humbled by that. I do this because I have passion for creation, and this is my shop where I create. This is where I feel most at home. I go home smelling like propane and oil. My wife, kind of makes fun of me, jokes about it, but I go home feeling, exhausted and tired, but it feels good because I'm creating, I'm creating things that are in my head, and it's a physical thing, and does inspire other people, and that, creates more ideas, and, just a self-propagating thing, and there's a lot of, it was very special to me. This is a giant LED globe. The skeleton I salvaged off of a theater company that was just throwing it away that was down the street. So I had this skeleton globe that was sitting in my shop for about 2 years, and I just got tired of looking at it. So I decided to create a project to turn it into a screen, essentially. In doing so, I had to drill over 9,000 holes, cut 9,000 wires, solder 9,000. It was just like, what am I doing? But this is a perfect mechanical and electrical engineering project. How do you fasten and configure 720 LEDs and make them adjustable, also making them accessible to the wiring, and also laying out the mechanical configuration so you can actually wire this electrically? So it was a very interesting project that, and because there's so much repetition, you have to get it right the first time, otherwise you're repeating your error 720 times. So about 6 months ago, about 8 years into the industry, I decided to quit my perfectly fine job as a design engineer, perfectly well-paying job as well, and start the shop, Frank's Kitchens, because I got tired of sitting behind a desk. I got tired of designing other people's ideas, and I've kept on finding myself spending more time here and here, working on, outside of work projects. So I took the risk. I have a shop where I can create anything I want to. I have every machine at my fingertips. I've created vehicles. I'm starting to get commissions from, local businesses, and I'm getting my work out there. So as to be on Top Engineer is a no-brainer for me, because that is right up my alley. It's designing on the fly. It's exactly what I do every day.